Hello and welcome back to Aiche. My name's Hannah, and it looks like Disney has cancelled their deal with OpenAI. So let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back. It's been a little while. I've been working, so I have not stopped. I'm still working at Disney, so everything is all good. Thank you very much for all the support on that video. I had so many people commented on that video, watching that video. Obviously, I'm a small YouTuber and I don't usually get that many people. It made me a bit scared. But yes, there was a lot of people talking about that video. So thank you again. And so sorry about the time it takes me to make these videos. It is something that I want to do more of, but of course I have work, I have other things going on, and then so it's hard to find the time to do these videos really. But hopefully I will try to find the time a bit more as I come to the end of my internship with Disney. So over the summer, hopefully you'll get a few more videos from me. You will find in this video that I will look a little bit different in about a minute because I actually filmed this video about a month ago when all this kind of kicked off. And I was just watching over the video, and in the video I have something in my teeth and I cannot deal with that. So about halfway through the video, it gets better. Disney have cancelled their thing with Sora, and Sora has been cancelled altogether. So this is great news for creators like me, and now I feel like that video is absolutely fine to have on the internet because all of it's been cancelled anyway. This has all come sort of around a similar time to Josh D'Amaro taking over the company, so maybe that has something to do with it. I couldn't say. I haven't actually met him. I kind of met him. He walked past me, so there's my claim to fame. But yeah, so Sora and Disney have gone their separate ways. Disney are no longer having this AI system on Disney Plus, or at least they won't be having it with Sora, if at all. So hopefully everything is kind of going to go a little bit more on the creator's side of things, but we'll see. I will hand you back over to past Hannah. Apologies if she still has stuff in her teeth. I think I've cut it in a way that you can't see it anymore, but just know that I am totally aware. Over to you, Hannah. OpenAI said it's shutting down both its Sora consumer app and the internet-based platform that professional install to generate videos. Okay, BBC guys, you need to look at your wording. That doesn't make sense. OpenAI said it's shutting down. The BBC understands that the closure of Sora, OpenAI will no longer focus on developing video generation tools. So ChatGPT will still be a thing. And while that does come with a lot of issues around the amount of water usage that AI is using and the data centers, and we can't buy RAM at the moment because it's ridiculously priced because all the AI companies are stealing all the RAM. So there are still things that we need to do to try and mitigate this, but at the very least, things like animation and storytelling in that kind of way, in that kind of sense, is stopping being used through AI. So we're kind of stopping our jobs being stolen, kind of, in a way. But yes, ChatGPT will still be a thing, which is still an issue and it's still a source for creativity. And we do kind of need to, regard that. Anyway, I'll get on to ChatGPT in a bit. What went wrong? Sora was unveiled in 2024 to cause interest around the world due to the high quality of its AI-generated videos. There were two questions around how much money could be made from the tool. So I think it is probably a money issue. Let's see. Since the platform's launch, Sora has made $1.4 million in global net app revenues compared to the $1.9 billion over the same period for ChatGPT. A Forrester analyst, Thomas Husson, told BBC News it was a resource black hole with limited monetization. Yes, I can totally see that. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how ChatGPT and Sora make their money. Is it through the subscription? Or is it just that a lot of companies are pumping money into it, essentially? I think that might be the main thing, because since obviously, it's public domain, you don't have to pay to use OpenAI, you don't have to pay to use ChatGPT. And I think you did have to pay to use Sora. I don't know. I never used it, so I'm not sure. But it must have been a bit harder to make revenue from a video creating website than things like ChatGPT, because it encompasses a lot more than just creating videos, obviously, whereas Sora is just creating videos, so it must be quite hard for them to make money from that. Given OpenAI is still unprofitable and pressure from investors and rivals is growing, this is cash they likely decided they can't afford to continue burning as initial interest has faded. The app also sparked concern about copyright violations and the threat it posed in the media industry. Yes, I mentioned that earlier in my last video. It does cause issues, and somehow Disney, rather than combating those issues, rather than combating Sora, they actually decided to work with them and to create more of this content, which is kind of ironic, really. Anyway, now we have this kind of situation where obviously Sora has closed down, and so, you know, Disney's deal with them no longer a thing. So ChatGPT is still alive and well. I'm sure you use it. I have used it, and I must admit, I do use it sometimes. It can be useful for things that you can't just Google for. So it can be useful. However, I try to use it the least I possibly can. There are people who swear by it, who use it every single day. And I do think it is important that we remember that we do live in a time where, you know, AI is taking over everything, and we do need to educate ourselves on AI and where the AI is going in the future. These kind of things are really important, and it is kind of important to use some of these apps, or at least to understand them, so that we understand how we're using them, how they're being used by other people, and how this is going to help us in the future, or not help us, essentially, in the future. So I have used ChatGPT a few times. However, I would urge everyone definitely not to use it for anything creative. So don't make it doesn't write my scripts. Obviously, I don't make a script. So do not make it write things for you. Don't write your essays through ChatGPT. It can be good for things like checking. Then again, even that's not great. It can't do everything for you. So I would urge people not to use ChatGPT if you can. Let's see if I can find an article on how much ChatGPT uses water. It's going to become a big issue. So this is from The Times. Thirsty. ChatGPT uses 4 times more water than previously thought. The massive computer clusters powering artificial intelligence consume vast quantities to answer the world's queries. But how is the big tech redressing the balance? AI water. Tech giants have significantly increased their water needs for cooling data centers due to escalating demand for AI products. Writing a 100-word email using ChatGPT consumes one 500ml bottle of water and uses 140 watts? What hours of energy? Oh, what WH is. Uses 140 WH, whatever that is, of energy, enough for 7 full charges of an iPhone Pro Max. Creating ChatGPT 3, the training part, uses 5.4 million litres of water, equivalent to the annual water usage of 26 UK households. Wow. So all in, that's incredible. That's way more than I thought. Just writing an 100-word email using ChatGPT uses so much water, and a lot of that water is coming in the training, which obviously is that's what AI is, you know, it's a training program, it trains itself. So it uses so much water just to write those prompts. So this is making me scared now. I'm going to stop using it. I'm going to delete it. A preprint study from the Academics, which was released last year, estimated that one 500ml bottle was used for this volume of queries, but they have now discovered that it underestimated the problem. Okay, so this was what it used to be. And now what is it? Data centers have always needed cooling because computers are essentially radiators, with most of their energy converted into heat. However, the servers that are built for AI are processing huge amounts of data and have more power density and greater cooling demands. The latest AI server racks unveiled by NVIDIA are generating 120 kilowatts of power. That's an awful little heat. It's human melting hot, said David Gray, chief executive of Isotope, a British company that helps to cool data centers. He said that 1 kilowatts of the equivalent to an old 3-bar heater is 100 to 120 of your granny's fire. In a meter square, it's 2 meters tall, 1 meter square, it's that hot. And there are thousands of them in a data center. Oh, this is so interesting. So how did data cooled? So obviously water is used to cool the data centers. Fantastic. Big tech compared. Megaliters of water consumed in 2023. Google had 24,227 megaliters. Microsoft 7,844 and Meta 2,938, which is equivalent to, so Google had 9,691 swimming pools, Microsoft had 3,138 swimming pools, and Meta had 1,175 swimming pools. By 2027, global AI water use by 2027 is predicted to be 4.2 to 6.6 billion cubic meters, BN, I don't know what that means, equivalent to half of the UK's total annual water consumption. 24.2 billion in 1 year, numbers of litres consumed by Google. 1.6 million over 10 years, number of litres of water used by a family of 4. So Google uses infinitely more water than everyone else does. It doesn't say anything particularly about OpenAI, but obviously we can assume that AI will be using, like ChatGPT or OpenAI will be using a very similar amount as Google is, for example. The water consumption from these AI data centers is an incredible amount, and it's just so much that we need to do something about it. And it's clear that it's going to be having an issue. How this is going to affect us on a real level. Our water prices are going to go through the roof. Our energy prices, just in general, are also going to go through the roof. As you can see, because of the wars that are all going on in the world, we also have to pay more for petrol and diesel. Everything is getting more expensive. And what do we even do about it? The things that we can do about it is stuff like this. Thankfully, Sora is no longer. So therefore, there's a lot less water being used now. Or at least there is a possibility that that water is then going to be used for OpenAI in general, or other places. So at least, at the very least, Sora has been stopped. What we can do now is we can start boycotting. I think that's the only way we can really do all this. However, it is the future. So it's going to be, we can't just suddenly boycott everything. So like I said, I think what we need to do is to use AI as little as possible. Only ever use it if you desperately need help with something and there's no one around to help you. Google won't help you. Mind you, Google is also AI now, so what difference does it really make? But definitely nothing creative. Never use AI to write your essays for you, to write a script for you, to write a book for you, to be your therapist. I use it for things like, I was comparing some camera models not too long ago, and I used it to compare those models for me, to find all that information, and then I went and checked those sources just to make sure it's getting the right information. It saved me a lot of time for something that was important to me, but it wasn't part of my job. I wasn't getting paid for this. So that kind of thing can be very useful for, and I do think it is a useful tool for some people. However, it should not replace creativity, and definitely shouldn't replace the people who are making things like Pixar films, like for example the new Hoppers film, which is fantastic, by the way. Go watch it. We certainly need to keep putting these people on a pedestal who make things and create things for us. Things like The Amazing Digital Circus, the newer Pixar films like Hoppers, that new DreamWorks film looks incredible. That looks so good. I will be going to watch that. Let's keep real creators creating things, and let's stop supporting people who are just prompting into ChatGPT, because that is bad for everyone in the long run. Hopefully this gave you a little bit more optimism about the future. I know it did me. When I heard the news, I was like, yes, thank goodness it is over. I can finally come out the woodwork and say that I didn't die. No, I'm joking. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm really hoping to do more videos. I know I said this last time and it has been like 2 months. So obviously I am incredibly busy with work. However, I will endeavour to try to find more video subjects, more things that I'm interested in and want to make videos about, and bring them to you guys. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Please follow me on my socials, on my Instagram and my TikTok. Also hoping to do more stuff on those. I know I kind of neglect them a little bit. but I do want to make more content for you guys. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.